Good afternoon, Mrs. Lee. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
My name is Jessica Butler, and we are here at the Center for Grieving and Counseling of South Carolina. I just want to make you aware that our conversation today is completely confidential. Anything that you say to me here in this room legally is not allowed to leave this room, and it just stays between you and I. And if at any point we come across a subject matter or a topic that you're not comfortable talking about, we can go ahead and not talk about it, come back to it later if you want. Either one is fine,
Thank you.
of course. Now, I'm looking over at your paperwork here today, and it says that you were referred to our center. Is that true?
Yes. The church I attend, they recommended for me to speak to a counselor because being a widow isn't uncommon to them, but as a refugee of war, of the Vietnam War, I feel like they don't understand what I'm going through. I have difficulty being able to fully communicate with them because they speak primarily English, and there's nobody who can help me.
Right, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're a refugee in Vietnam, and I can ask, Vietnamese is your first language then?
Yes.
Okay, and there are some people in your church that you can talk to. Do you speak to them in English?
Yeah, the majority of the people only speak English. Some of them can roughly understand what I say in Vietnamese and what little English I can speak, but not really many people can understand me.
And with your husband, did you primarily speak Vietnamese to each other?
Yes. He passed away a year ago in an accident. A car accident, and he was the only person who could understand me because he lived through all of it with me.
Of course, of course. You don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. So now it's a year after the accident. What are the issues that you find that you're still experiencing?
When the accident happened, we were prepared for emergencies and we had money set aside. But with all of the medical expenses and funeral costs, all of that money was used up and I don't have anything left.
And do you currently have a job?
I just needed some time to grieve, and I had to leave my job, and I haven't been able to get a job since.
Okay. All right, so outside of your finances and currently not working, are you getting any other financial assistance from possibly friends or family?
My 4 children try to help me out as best as possible, but they have the children of their own, so they can't really help me out as much. And I don't expect them to.
It's understandable. Parents have a hard time after taking care of their kids for so long, being the ones to taking it care of, and especially not wanting to put a financial burden on the family. So how often do you get to see your kids?
Before my husband passed away, we would make an effort to see each other as often as possible, 4 or 5 days out of the week. But now my children don't make an effort. If I'm lucky, I can see them twice a week, maybe once a week. but I'm always the one that has to make an effort for that.
So do you feel since the passing of your husband that you're seeing your family less?
Yes. They don't want to keep to our traditions and to our roots. I had an argument with my two eldest daughters because they don't teach my grandchildren about our tradition and the struggles we went through during the war in the refugee camps.
Do your children speak Vietnamese and understand it?
My two eldest children, they can fluently speak Vietnamese and they understand me. My two youngest children can roughly speak Vietnamese and have some difficulty with understanding me. But since my daughters don't want to teach my grandchildren about our culture and our heritage, my two grandchildren, they can't even speak Vietnamese. They can roughly even understand anything I say, but just a few simple phrases is what they can communicate with. And if I'm even around them, they don't even make an effort to talk to me. They're always on their phones.
And how does that make you feel?
It's disrespectful because their father and I almost lost our lives trying to give them a better chance. And they don't even care. They don't even.
So it almost adds to the loss of your husband, not having your children carry on the traditions and their heritage. Kind of makes you feel as if you're losing a part of your identity for the work that you put in so that they could have the life that they have, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Well, what we're able to do here, starting off with financial assistance to alleviate some of the burden that you're feeling. At the end of today's session, we can get paperwork started. There's programs for widows as well as programs for the unemployed, and we can get you started on food stamps. And that will, like I said, alleviate some of the financial burden that you're feeling and hopefully contributing to having less stress. And there are programs and counseling that we offer here to help families openly communicate and have a stronger communication and bond through that, to express to family members the impact that it's having on you. It's more than just the loss of their father and your husband. And hopefully through that open communication, they'll be receptive to that and to your needs, and hopefully will come to make you feel a little bit less lonely if that's something that you'd be interested in. Now, it's nothing that we can guarantee, but it's a start, and we usually find it to be fairly successful with people.
Would they be able to help me with translating some of that paperwork?
Yes, we can get you a translator. Since these are government-funded programs, translators can be made available. And if at any point they're not answering any of your questions or you're still feeling confused, please don't hesitate to reach out to the office. Of course. So going forward, I think we start with a plan of alleviating some of this financial burden, and then the next time that you come in, we can start setting you up in those programs for family counseling, as well as separate counseling for just yourself if you would like, to still have somebody that you can come and talk to, and that we can get you able to communicate to your family how you're really feeling. How does that sound?
Please.
All right. Well, Mrs. Lee, thank you very much for